Hello and welcome to Talking Bottom. I'm Matt Brooks.
I'm Ange Pearson.
I'm Paul Tanter.
And today we're excited to be joined by an actress whose career started way back in the 90s, bringing characters to life across films and television. She's acted in TV series such as Magic Grandad, Los Dos Bros, Casualty, and Doctors. In the world of film, she's appeared in Highlander Endgame, Casualty, Cider with Rosie, and The Gathering. But, of course, listeners of this show, Talking Bottom, will know her best for her role in the film Guest House Paradiso, where at the age of 9 years old, she played Charlene Nice, a member of the family that checks into the hotel, expecting a nice relaxing holiday to get much more than anticipated with. Many people feel like they grew up with Rik Mayall, with the likes of Jack and Ade and Drop Dead Fred and stuff, but Jessica was lucky enough to actually grow up with Rik and Ade for a few days of filming, or however many days she was there for. Jessica Mann, thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure to be talking bottom with you today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. So excited to be here.
So Jessica, starting off as a child actor, and this was your first role, I believe. Is this correct?
Second role.
So how did you first get started and how pushy were your parents?
I was just really, really lucky, to be honest. Cider with Rosie is a book written by Laurie Lee, and I grew up in the area that he grew up, and so they filmed in the area, and they cast from a lot of school children. I happened to just look like one of the characters in the book, so I got my first part there. And then my mum got talking to one of the other child actors and got their agency number, gave them a call, and drove me to a million auditions after that, and that's how it happened.
Fantastic. And how did you get the Guest House Paradiso role then? Did you audition for that?
Yeah, I auditioned for that. So it's probably about 3 or 4 auditions.
Wow, okay. And were Rik and Ade there at the later ones?
Yeah, the later ones, he was there. And then the final audition was a screen test with me and the boy who played my brother.
Oh, okay, lovely. So when you first met Rik and Ade, what was your first impression of them? I presume you hadn't met them prior to that?
No, I didn't even know who they were, to be honest.
Really?
I'd probably be a bit worried if I knew what bottom was at the age of 8.
Well, I mean, I did. That's when I started watching.
My parents weren't as cool as yours.
Or yeah, I was sneakier. My older brother let me watch it. Like he had me like watching it from a young age when I probably shouldn't have been. But yeah, so did you like enjoy the experience of filming with Rik and Ade then, even though you didn't obviously know who they were? Were you kind of aware of the film kind of as things went on, like that it was from the TV show Bottom?
They told me it was from a TV show called Bottom. The whole experience was just incredible, to be honest. I think it's one of the best filming experiences I've had in terms of everyone felt like family, from cast, crew, everyone just was so close-knit. And working with Rik and Ade was just incredible, to be honest.
Oh, what were they like to act with? Obviously, Ade was directing as well, so I know there was a differentiation there. What was it like for you at the time working with them?
Ade was actually, he's a lot quieter than you would imagine. He's quite grounded, very calm. Whereas Rik is Rik. What you see is what you get. He's just this massive ball of positive energy. So working alongside him as a kid was just so much fun. It was such a dream come true. Especially I did love Drop Dead Fred. So that was such an iconic movie. So yeah, he was fantastic. They're such an interesting duo. They match each other so perfectly in that sense.
Were you aware of any of their work before you did Guest House Paradiso? Had you seen any of Rik's Jack and Ade, or seen Drop Dead Fred or Grimm's Fairy Tales or anything like that? Or did you sort of discover their work after you'd appeared with them? Yeah,
I discovered it after. But yeah, Drop Dead Fred is just one of those iconic childhood films after that. And knowing it's Rik as well.
It must be very surreal for you, like getting into that. So, I know that guy.
I think it makes it even more impressive, just like who he is and what he was able to do. I would say like he's definitely, his skill is just something I admire so much.
Yeah.
I mean, both Ade and Rik, but yeah, Rik was just one of a kind in terms of his energy and his comedic skills, his body skills, just everything he brought to the table was incredible.
As you say, he's got great sort of physical comedic skills, and the film itself has a lot of like Bottom, a lot of physical gags and that sort of thing. and a lot of mess, certainly in the film as well. Does anything sort of stick out in your mind as particularly memorable from the stuff that you've filmed there? You know, like that was exciting or messy or...
A couple of things. The vomiting.
So you're right in the mess there with the vomit. You
Yeah.
get covered in it and stuff. Did you squirt out any from your, did they set you up with a rig of actually vomiting as well, or what happened?
Yeah, they had the mouth kind of guard and the tube that went down the side of the clothing. Yeah, it was pretty unique. It wasn't that bad. It was fun.
I imagine as a 9-year-old, that must have been brilliant fun. As now it'd be fun. What am I talking about? But yeah, particularly then. Did it set you up for disappointment in later life? Like
I'm always trying to match the distance that I covered, and I never quite get that. What was amazing is on one of the days, the tank exploded all over the makeup artists.
Wow.
These poor makeup artists were just drenched in this kind of goop. I mean, that and getting my full body cast, that was a pretty unique experience. I had like straws coming out of my nose and my mouth, and they did my whole body. And
that thing where they sort of cover you in plaster of Paris and you have to basically be mummified? Oh man.
So what was that for? So they'd have a little fake
They threw me off the cliff.
Yeah,
they didn't really throw me off the cliff.
I see. Okay.
But amazingly, the version of me has never been found. It got stolen.
Really?
little 8-year-old me with my hands like that is out there.
Oh my God.
It's just pretty traumatic.
Hopefully it's nothing too sinister. It just is at the bottom of the ocean.
Hopefully someone's just using it as like a posh drink stand or something like that at home. Yeah. So
my favorite scenes from the Guest House Paradiso, it's just time to call it a scene is much. It's just one little moment when he's going up the stairs and Richie just says something goes like, "Oh, cheer up, little kiddie," to you or something, and you burst into tears. I'd imagine, was there any kind of trust exercises and stuff with you and Rik to basically emphasize, like, you know, I'm actually not a nasty person, but I'm going to be really rude and so like how did that work as a kid and stuff? You know, it could have been quite intimidating, but from the behind the scenes stuff, it really looked like you were in on the joke and were enjoying it.
Yeah, I think they made it really clear from the beginning that, you know, there is a difference between real life Rik and Ade and scary Rik and Ade. But I mean, as soon as it went cut, you know, he was right away making sure that we were okay and, you know, throwing jokes and being his playful self. So
were they careful not to sort of swear around you when the cameras weren't rolling? Obviously they're known for being quite risque. Would they sort of, you know, would they dial it down the moment cut was called?
They would make a joke out of it. So they would, Rik would often say like, I wasn't supposed to say that word. So every time we said cut, we got to tell him off for saying it. Oh, Rik, you did it again. He'd be like, "Oh no, I'm sorry, I did it again. I shouldn't have said that. I meant poo, not shit." Oh, shit.
Were your parents on the set with you then? Were you chaperoned around or whatever, or did you have like how many days were you on set with them?
Half and half, because I do have a little brother as well. Sorry, little brother, big brother, and so my mum had to obviously do a bit of juggling. So she probably spent half of the time with me, and then I would have a chaperone, and you have tutors as well, because I missed a bit of school.
Oh wow! So how long were you on the shoot for then?
I think that was a month or so.
Wow. Okay.
Oh.
So maybe it felt like a month. It was only a few weeks. It probably felt like longer. I mean, I was so young. You know, it was a bit of this kind of hazy dream kind of.
You were kind of given time off school then in order to do this kind of thing, and you had tutors on set.
Yeah.
It wasn't in the summer holiday, you know, you actually had time out. Oh,
yeah, I actually had time out, which was awesome.
You grew up around Bristol, is that right?
Yeah, it was kind of Stroud area. In Gloucestershire, and then when I was 11 I moved to Somerset,
right, and that's where filming is. That where the filming was, or no, it's not around that way, is it?
Isle of Wight, I thought it was.
That's right. So you had to get over there.
Oh, and Ealing Studios.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think the exteriors were Isle of Wight, but all the studio-based stuff was Ealing. I thought. Yeah. And so, like you touched on Ade as a director earlier. Obviously, at the time, this is one of your first acting jobs. Since then, you've obviously become more experienced. As you look back, how did you find Ade as a director? Especially, I suppose, now you've got the frame of reference of more experience to look back on with? How did you find him as a director?
He was fantastic, actually, to be able to act and direct. And I think he just definitely had such a clear vision in his head of what he wanted to create. And he's just a really like chilled out, down to earth person. So giving feedback, giving notes was, great. He was, always really lovely. But yeah, he definitely had the vision of what he wanted to create.
Fantastic.
And he was very perfectionist about it as well. He would go back and do it again and again if he needed to.
You're right. I think it's doubly challenging if the person directing is also got to be performing in it as well. There's a lot to juggle there. It takes a lot of concentration. In the film, of course, your dad is played by Simon Pegg, who anyone listening to this, I'm sure, knows who he is. What do you remember of working with him?
Just once again, he was so lovely. A bit more fatherly, I would say, than Rik was definitely like the big child in the room. And
so he's trying to protect you.
Yeah, Simon was great. He was once again just really kind. I have it must be quite difficult being an adult worker with kids on set. I think maybe quite tiring as well.
Yeah,
having like all balls of energy jumping around. But everyone on Guest House Paradiso was great. It was such a family feeling.
In stuff you've been in since, have you since worked with kids and then thought, oh, that must be what it's like? That must have been what it must have been like at the time for the adults.
No, I haven't worked with kids, but I'm not going to name names. But there was one actor who, after cut, they would kind of go off and didn't really want to deal with the kids.
Oh man, okay.
Which is fine. I think I was quite annoying as a kid.
Yeah. So when the film came out, were you allowed to watch it when it came out, or did you have to be sort of did you have to wait a few years because of the content?
No, my parents were fine with it. I mean, I saw it happen live, so
yeah.
That was annoying. We missed the premiere because we got stuck in traffic.
Oh no!
Oh no, really? Was it a London premiere?
Yeah, so we got stuck there. My mum got me a sparkly suit with a blazer and trousers, and ended up wearing it to the services Mcdonalds.
Brilliant. Did you tell a therapist about this years later? This is one of your biggest disappointments in life. That is tragic. The McDonald's dressed in sparkly. Oh, why have you dressed up for McDonald's? I was going to a film premiere. Of course you were.
Yeah. All right, little kids.
That is tragic.
Yeah, at least it wasn't radioactive fish you had for dinner.
Okay. So that was
McDonald's. Who knows? Yeah.
Have you since watched the TV show? I mean, I'm assuming that you watched the TV series Bottom at some point, and if so, are you a fan of it? Was it something that you enjoyed?
I've dabbled in and out of it. I wouldn't say I've watched it in a kind of every episode kind of way.
Yeah.
It's very nostalgic for me because it's definitely very before my time. And I think the only reason I would watch it is to reminisce on Rik and Ade. So I think it's hard to lose myself in it. If that makes sense.
I suppose it's just something a bit personal with you. That's not just a character, is it? That's someone you know a little bit.
It's almost like
two people.
Watching it objectively. I did really like the young ones, but once again, it was more like dipping in and out. But I think if I definitely need some inspiration on how to do comedy, it's a good place to start.
Yeah. Are you a fan of British comedies and sitcoms in general? Any other what shows are you kind of a fan of?
I grew up watching a lot of Mr. Bean, and Blackadder is of course so iconic. Monty Python as well.
Great, yeah.
I've just got my husband into it because he's Sri Lankan, so didn't have much Monty Python. Finally convinced him to watch it. He loves it as well. It's great. Otherwise it'd be divorce. So
fantastic. Yeah, I've always felt that way about divorce. If you don't like all the comedy I like, that is definitely it. In fact, I think my criteria was if people didn't like Rik Mayall, I wouldn't go out with them when I was younger.
First dates, there's a quiz. Do you like Rik Mayall? Who's Rik Mayall? Get out.
Yeah, genuinely, that happened a few times.
Do you prefer, when it comes to acting, do you prefer comedy over drama?
I think I do prefer drama, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think comedy is almost harder in a way because it's so much about timing. You really have to be aware of that timing and almost constrained by it, I guess. Whereas with drama, it's so much more about the emotion and bringing that out, and how do you bring that out. What I love about acting is you can kind of lose yourself and you can become these different characters. And And I think that's just a lot simpler and more enjoyable when it's something not necessarily drama, but it's not constrained by worrying about where you're getting the laughs and setting up the jokes.
Yeah.
You were great in Guest House Paradiso. Like, your timing was so spot on. There was that scene around the dinner table when Rick's like shouting literally over you. He like leans over you, like stuff food into the on-screen brother's mouth, and then pulls back and says, and you eat the fish off your fork. Like, really, like.
I think I was so expertly guided by Ade and Rik, definitely, and probably like slightly traumatized as well. Some of that was real.
Is there anything that you're watching at the moment that you're particularly enjoying, comedy-wise or drama-wise?
Oh, this is so unlike me, but I'm obsessed with RuPaul's Drag Race at the moment. I just can't get over it. Which is so unlike, I don't like reality TV at all. I think it's a crock of shit, to be honest. But, and it's definitely not based in any kind of realism. So I'm just obsessed with RuPaul. Just the sayings, the sashaying, and
it's so entertaining, isn't it?
The costume designs are just incredible. The creativity. Oh, I love it.
It's different from the reality TV.
Something that's not reality that I'm watching. I can't really think of anything. Yeah, it's just I'm so obsessed with RuPaul. And every now and then American Horror Story I love as well. I absolutely love American Horror Story. I like creepy shows, really dark, twisted stuff.
Is there anything you're watching on at the moment that you'd like to plug?
No, not really.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
I'm in between jobs at the moment.
That with lockdown.
Yeah, surviving a pandemic. I do have my sword fighting exam on Sunday, so that's quite exciting. Fantastic. I've started combat training, so hopefully if anyone's looking for a 5'2" blonde person that can wield a sword in a film, give my agent a call.
That sounds pretty neat. Like, I think you should definitely go. That's fantastic. So do you want to get into action kind of stuff then?
Yeah, I actually really love it. I didn't expect to love it as much as I did. I also have a background in horse riding, so I'm hoping to combine the two at some point.
Okay.
Sort of fighting on a horse.
Yes.
A musketeer or something.
Maybe that can be like a spin-off of Guest House Paradiso, where Charlene Nice avenges.
Her body gets found. You were never found, so you can wreak revenge. We've often lamented that comedy violence seems to be on the downturn. So maybe it's time to bring it back.
I would have to get Ade involved. I don't think it can be rested on my shoulders.
All right. Well, we'll pitch that to him, and maybe he'll do the Guest House Paradiso sequel that we're hoping for.
Yes.
Without Rik Mail, definitely. I'm sure it'll be great. Can
it be done though? I don't think it can.
Cut in old footage or something. Sorry.
Do the Star Wars thing of right. Okay.
I thought that'd be brilliant.
I think that would be sacrilege.
I'd be interesting. I reckon Rik would be up for it.
And is there anything you'd like to have starred in, that, like, British comedy wise or film wise, that and when you were a kid maybe that you thought, that could have been me, or that you auditioned for and just missed out on?
Oh, do you know, it was between me and the girl who got it for The Others.
Oh, really?
So interestingly, her surname is Mann as well. She stole my name and my part. That would have been good. I think I would love to do something like What We Do in the Shadows, that kind of mockumentary style. I absolutely love that as well. Or I did a lot of Skins auditions. That was quite fun.
Was that something you got quite far in the process for then? You kept getting a lot of callbacks?
No, Skins was a weird one. I don't honestly know why I got auditioned for that, because I looked way too young, and it was actually for a part where she's getting married and talking about trying to suck dick to get drugs. So I looked about probably like 14.
Wow.
Rocking up to this audition like this is strange. I don't think I've got this. Sorry, I hope I can swear on this, by the way.
Of course, yeah.
Well, there we go. We thought the scenes in Guest House Paradiso were a bit rude, but
you get thrown everything as an actor. It's fun.
Awesome. Well, Jessica, thank you very much for joining us here today. It's been lovely talking to you. Thank you very much for telling us about your experiences.
Giving us your time. Thank you, and all the best for all the sword fighting. We can't wait to see you on the next Game of Thrones or whatever.
Bring it on.
There's prequel stuff, isn't there? Yeah, get in on that.
Game of Thrones prequel, yeah.
Arya, watch out! I'm coming for you.
Don't you just love it as an actor when people just casually say, "Why didn't you go on that show?" Just there you go. Now
that's
I'll call my agent.
That's the way it works. And then I gave her that idea. So when they watch it on TV, that's my doing.
Thank you very much, Jessica.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care.